Hey guys, happy Thursday. Hopefully you're having a good day. I keep thinking it's Friday today. I keep going to say Friday. Hopefully you're having a good one. Kai, hello. Alok, welcome. Malik, good to see you again. Sakshi, good evening from India. Hello. Long way away. I'm based in the UK for anyone new to the streams. And yeah, today we're going to be designing some stuff. It's going to be super chill. Even though it's not Friday, it is in fact a Thursday. Come on, Dan. Get your brain in gear. And yeah, this is going to be interesting. I was playing around with some stuff recently, and we'll get into it in a minute. We'll get into it in a minute. Let's let a few more people join first. I've got my basil water here. There's me running before I can walk. Oh. Hopefully everyone is having a good week. Oh, Andrea, Texas. Wow, equally a long way away from here. Kai, let's go. Let's go indeed. Let's go. I'm going to enjoy this one. -3 degrees in France. My goodness. But is there snow? That's the thing. Like, I don't mind it being really, really cold. Like, I can deal with the cold, but I prefer it if there's snow. Do you know what I mean? Because then I can, like, take the kids out and build a snowman. Like, I make out it's like for the kids. It's not. It's for me. I love a good snowman. Yeah, I like a bit of snow. Good evening. Oh, this is going to be fun today. So yeah, basically what I was about to say was that recently I've been doing some Photoshop stuff, been having a ton of fun kind of making things, and I do artwork from time to time in Photoshop. You might have seen it if you follow me on the old socials, and I was just like, oh, do you know, I love it. All right, I love it when an artist signs off their work with their signature in the corner. I got like a really nice watermark. And I've had like my Dansky logo for the brand for a while now, and I was just like, oh, I'd have a really cool Dansky signature to sign off any creative work like that I do, because I don't have one. And yeah, just randomly as I was thinking that, kind of weirdly actually, this website popped up on Instagram with a sponsored post, and it was offering signatures designed by professional calligraphers, supposedly. And I kind of had a look at it and was like, oh yeah, these look really, really cool. And then thought, you know what? I don't really want to wait multiple days for someone to design something for me because, well, clearly I'm very impatient, but also, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like I'd find it kind of difficult to work, have another creative produce something for me. Like, I'd like to have a hand in it. But the problem is, I don't really have calligraphy experience. I think I've mentioned before, like my skill set is much more layout, um, more general graphic design based stuff. That's where my kind of skill set really sort of shines. The advanced typography and the calligraphy, or lettering, letter forms, that's not my kind of thing, So I was like, okay, but I still want to like have a crack at it, and I kind of arrived at something that I really do like. So I'd be curious to see what you think about this little squiggle. And then I was thinking, like, instead of just a watermark for my artwork, could this be a new design for my Dansky logo? I don't know. Something about it just feels a little bit more mature. I don't know. I'm a 37-year-old guy, and I don't know. Maybe a nice little Dansky squiggle is a little bit kind of a bit of an evolution. Actually, it's not really an evolution, is it? It's a complete redesign. But yeah, I don't know. I thought I would see what you think. Like, Poppy loves it. I really like it. And yeah, first of all, I'd be curious to see what you think. Popinda's missing. Where is she? she is homeschooling our eldest today, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. It's kind of fortunately, but also it would be nice if she were here. I know. I know. She's a ray of sunshine, that one. Ricardo. Hello from Peru. Hello, Ricardo. Google Ads can hear our thoughts now. Yeah, I think they've been doing that for a long time, Kai. It's weird. Poppy at home, Poppy will start talking to me about like, oh yeah, I ordered these clothes from this like female clothing website, and then I start getting ads for it, and it's like, look, come on, like I'm not interested in bras. Like it wasn't me saying that. Stop serving me these ads. So I don't know. Andrea says, "Oh my god, yes, typography class was the worst for me." Yeah, it's pretty involved. It's pretty intricate. Hi Dan, looks great. Michael, excellent, Michael, fantastic. That's really nice. Love it. Hello, Cynthia. Welcome back. Hello, Dan. Afif, welcome. Design is amazing. Hello from Istanbul. Oh, everyone's all over the place today. We've got India, Peru, Istanbul, Texas. I love it. I love the scribble design. Okay, that's promising. That's promising. Yeah, so the thing with this is, I think this is actually based on a typeface. And so what I did was I wrote the word Dansky and upper, like kind of title case. So with the D capitalized, the rest lowercase, and then I did a full lowercase version. And I then went on to Envato Elements and thought, you know what? I'm going to look for some fonts. So this is literally what I did. If you've never heard of Envato Elements, like, you know, they're amazing. There's a link in the description if you want to check them out. But it's basically like an all-in-one design everything. They're brilliant. And you can go to fonts and then just type in, this is great. If you've never heard of this platform, you're going to love this. Signature. There you go. Loads of cool signature fonts. Now, I know that calligraphy and kind of doing this professionally, it's like an art unto itself. It's like, you know, it's a skill. It really is. And respect to people who do it. But it's not a skill I possess. And as we've clearly established, I am somewhat impatient. And I wanted to have a hand in doing this myself, because then I can refine it and tweak it until I'm 100% happy. I'd be a nightmare as a client. And there's just some of these that look so good. And the thing is, when you're, I think we've talked about this before, when you're like using, you're designing your own typeface for something, whether it's a logo or whatever, when you're doing your own letter forms, essentially, if you don't have experience in typography, you run the risk of making kind of, I guess you could say, kind of noob errors, like beginner amateur errors that you wouldn't know about, like we talked about on Tuesday, overshooting parts of certain rounded letters above the X height and the baseline, so it's typographically correct. And calligraphy is I'm sure calligraphy is very much the same. There's certain things you can do and you can't do, and if you aren't a calligrapher, as we've established I'm not, then I'm probably gonna make mistakes without even realizing it. So I thought, do you know what? I'm gonna start with a typeface. I'm gonna find one I like, play around with a few different fonts, and just see if there's something that takes my fancy. And it turns out there was one that I did really like. I'll look up what it's called in a minute. Sorry, where are with the fonts? Only on the phone, can't really see. Yeah, so this is the Envato Elements site at the minute, John. And Kai says, I think it looks really nice. A chance someone who doesn't know your name may read it as Darsky, though. Yeah, I don't know. I did try lengthening the R to make it more like an N, but then I'm not sure. And like I was saying, this is kind of what we've talked about before, is that if you're, let's say, not a calligrapher, or you're not very good at typography or whatever, you can download a font that's been made by a professional. So the people who made these fonts, I don't know, looking at this, it's pretty safe to assume they know exactly what they're doing, which is great, because it means I can download this, I can type my word or my name, And then rather than do it all from scratch, I can either tweak and customize the letters to kind of suit what I'm looking for, which is exactly what I've done here. Or I can use a font that is kind of what I want to go for, and I can draw my own letters, but look at how like the E's or the S's or the T's are presented in that font that I'm using as a reference. And then kind of maybe I'll style it slightly differently, but I've got a kind of idea of how things should or could look. So what I did was I basically went and just downloaded as many as I could. I could spend hours downloading these, but I kind of went through and grabbed my favorites. I'm seeing more here now as I'm even doing this. Oh no, have I got that one? So basically what I did was type the word Dansky and then just had all of these different fonts and just kind of picked one that I really, really liked. I think it was this one in the end, but I hated that D. Hated it. So lowercase that bad boy. There we go. That's kind of where I sort of started. So if I kind of grab this and let's go and put it with, as you can see, I've done lots of little variations and evolutions. Let's try and overlay this with what I've done. We'll go for yellow. Nice bright yellow. There we go. Actually, no, that makes it kind of hard to see. Let's go for magenta. There we go. Lovely. So you can kind of see the adjustments that I've made. Obviously, the magenta one being the font, and then the white one is kind of the tweaks that I've made, more or less. So it's mostly around the S. As you can see, I've kind of redrawn part of the S to make it kind of connect, which I think is nice. I've brought that R a bit lower, so it's a bit more like an N. Actually, I think that, no, this isn't the final one, actually. Sorry, it's here. Come on, Daniel. There we go. So yeah, it's mostly the S. I've brought this part of the N, which kind of looks like an R, down a bit. Hey, it's a work in progress, okay? And then I've kind of redrawn this part on the Y, that descender there, so it's less straight, more curved. So the curvature kind of matches the D and the K as well. Rebecca says, yes, enjoying the icons, but I refuse to put a scarf on him trying to figure something out. Oh, the polar bear. What else could you dress up a polar bear with? I'm thinking scarf, hat, a can of Coke. Didn't they have a polar bear in the Coke adverts a few years back? Chris says, looks organic. I like it. I wonder how AI would render your signature. Is that AI is in artificial intelligence or Adobe Illustrator? These fonts are very stylish, Sema. Yeah, they're really cool. Hey, Tanvir. Long time no see, my friend. Can you put the link to the font website under the video when you post it? Yes, absolutely, I will. Where are you, Envato Elements? Yeah, it's a great platform, honestly. It's one of those ones that I signed up years ago, and I just couldn't unsubscribe because of what I do with the kind of whole content creation thing as well. They've got video, music. Oh, the music library is amazing. They've got so many good, really nice, moody cello tracks. If you like a bit of cello or some kind of dark, moody music, it's the kind of stuff I actually just listen to for fun. It's that good, but it's obviously good for YouTube videos as well. And they've got icons and graphics and all sorts. Brushes as well. Their brushes are amazing. So if you're into Photoshop, yeah, have fun downloading everything. I would modify the K. No, so let's try that again. I would modify the N and K so it doesn't look like Darshi. Maybe we should rebrand as Darshi. Yeah, see, this is the difficult thing with it. It's kind of like it's a difficult one. Sometimes when you kind of get people's kind of logos, you get this with a lot of like photographer logos. They'll kind of have this sort of calligraphic signature style kind of logo, and not all of the word or all of the letter forms are clearly distinguishable. But because of the context it's used, whether it's on a website or there's other like printed material around it, there's always that context of what it's actually called. If we're looking at just a logo just sat on its own in blank space, and I said to someone, "Hey, what does that say?" A lot of people probably would say Darshi or Darsky or something. But because there's always usually like a website with a web address that you've gone to, or maybe it's on a box or something. Do you know what I mean? Like if you look at, I know it's slightly different, and obviously the guy's very well known. But when you look at Gary V's logo, just as an example, I know there he's got the kind of his name written as well, and I know the guy's got a lot of notoriety, so he could do anything and it would be recognizable, I guess, to an extent. But do you know what I mean? Like it's just a squiggle. You can't really identify that as anything, or I can't anyway. So yeah, so I don't know. It's an interesting one. That's why I thought I wanted to kind of throw it up today and just see what you thought about it. Because I think it's more than just kind of looking at it in isolation like this. It's more about the context as a whole and where it's used, if that makes sense. Is he a doctor? No, Gary Vee is definitely not a doctor. He's an entrepreneur. And a very well-known one at that. Hello. So anyway, yes. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, before we go too far, I nearly forgot. Segue. So, if anyone on the stream today, if you're watching this on catch up, is interested in learning everything I know about Adobe Illustrator, that's literally start to finish, from the very basics, from installing it for the first time, to learning pretty much everything that the software has to offer, essentially downloading my 17 years of using it into like a 6 to 7 hour course. And this is my Adobe Illustrator masterclass. I spent 6 months working on it, and if I do say so myself, it's really good. I'm very proud of it, as you can probably tell. And if you are interested in checking that out, there's a link there to sign up and get 15% off. And basically you get the course and access to, basically me and a private community as well. So basically you can DM me if you ever have any questions, get stuck, want some feedback, whatever it is, I'm going to be there to support you. So there is that. And there's the discount as well if you're interested. Rebecca says, I think that would be true if it was more of an authentic signature, but it looks like a typeface trying to be a script. I think it should be legible, but my unprofessional opinion. Everyone's opinion is valid. Everyone's opinion. That's why I like to show a lot of my design stuff to Poppy at home, because she's not a designer and she doesn't have the experience that I've got, which actually kind of makes her equally valuable. Kind of, just showing something to a to a normie, a normal, ordinary person. Sorry, Poppy. I don't know if she's on the stream. I might be all right. I might have got away with that one. But do you know what I mean? Because as designers, we can get very wrapped up in things sometimes. It's very easy to get carried away. And you've got the full context of what it means. And someone else coming in, as we can see with this logo, would go, well, what the heck does that say? I can't read that. That's terrible. So I think having those different opinions from designers or non-designers is actually equally important. The N looks a bit off, can be read as P. Yeah, no, I suppose I get that as well. We'll see. But anyway, enough about me. Enough about me. What I wanted to do today was just I don't know, basically open myself up to design some signatures working in this way for you guys. So if anyone would like a signature, just type me in capital letters in the chat, and first come, first serve. Let's go. Switch that to live chat, just so I get it in order. Hey, there we go. Farbtorius. Nice. Would you like that name, Farbtorius, or have you got a real name or another name that you would like? And we'll go with that. Whatever works for you. Jeremy Farber. Excellent. Jeremy Farber it is. Right, let's give this a go. I got no idea what's going to happen. Also, is anyone else getting this in Illustrator? I don't know what it is, but in the latest update, if I hold down spacebar and click and use the hand tool, my artboard disappears. I don't know what's going on there. Very, very weird. Let's just see as well. There's a couple of people, including myself, that have had a problem with rounding corners on shapes. Yeah, it seems to be working now. Switching to the direct selection tool and not seeing the control points. Yeah, I don't know. If anyone's been having any issues with the latest 28.1 update to Illustrator, do let me know. I think the audio's working. It should be working. Is the audio working? Hopefully it is. Yeah, might just need to turn it up a little bit. Or maybe I can turn it up. I'll tell you what, I'll turn it up. I'll turn it up. We'll stick 5 decibels on there. There we go. Is that any better? Hopefully. Mic is fine for me. Excellent. Okay, good. Right, Jeremy Farber. Let's go. Jeremy Farber. Paste without formatting. There we go. That's a nice little nifty trick there. So if you want to paste the text in, but you don't want to kind of copy the style, as you can see from the first one there, just go paste without formatting. And what it will do is it will keep the current formatting. There we go. Command or Control, Alt or Option, and V. There we go. Boom. Boom. There we go. Keyboard shortcuts for the win. Ha! Excellent. Oops. Hang on. There we go. Nice. Down we go. Cool. And if you did want to draw your own letters, you know, as I say, you could use this as inspiration. So you could, you know, okay, I can kind of get a sense of how the R, you see on these two here, these two look very similar in terms of, oh, hang on. Wait, are they the same font? Ah, Dan, you idiot. Oh, funny. Let's try these two. So you can see here the R. The R is it's like a cursive R, I think, very kind of different. But you can see both of these are very similar. They treat the R in a similar way. So even though I don't have that experience that I talked about earlier, I could draw my own R. So I've got the graphics tablet hooked up here. So I could do an E. That's a bit rubbish. Let's try again. Yeah, and so I could have a go if I wanted to at drawing my own cursive R. But as you can see, the problem with doing this on my own is that, as I mentioned, I am definitely not a calligrapher. And I could spend a while, I could spend a lot longer doing this. I think I could do something that looks good. I don't think I'm completely incompetent there. I think between kind of having a graphics tablet, having references and visuals like this, I think I could do something that looks good. But it's much more efficient. And honestly, it's just easier for me to kind of use a font as a starting point that I like, and then kind of go from there. Especially as some of these look awesome. So it's kind of like, well, these already look great. Why don't I just tweak these rather than kind of reinvent the wheel? Do you know what I mean? And I've already got, I think I've already got a favorite here. So what I'll do is I'll shortlist, can't speak. I'll shortlist a few, and then you guys can tell me what ones that you think. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to kind of start with all of them. We'll move along. I think I'll keep the upper and lowercase mix. It looks good. Unlike the capital D on Dansky, which looked awful. Hey, Dilshan, Max Art. Hey, how you doing? I love a big swoop on my J's. You like a big swoop? Okay, we've got some client input there. Nice. Do I take it on board or get in trouble and ignore it? We'll see. I have a love-hate relationship with my interactive drawing tablet. What tablet have you got, Andrea? It's one of those things that it felt really weird the first time I used it, but once I sort of forced myself to use it for a few days, I kind of even started using it as a mouse replacement. I don't really do that anymore. I do quite like a mouse now, but when I used to work for a company, I remember I used to use it all the time. It was just so, it just felt more natural kind of drawing, and I got pretty quick with it. Oh, right. Christian says, I also have problems with 28.1. The contextual menu bar disappears when I try to change fonts. The font name is still there. Windows 11. Okay, interesting. Disappears when you try and change font. Yeah, so I'm not having that here. I think probably because I'm on a Mac with sort of, there's a difference there between Mac and Windows. But it does seem like there's a few kind of hiccups with the latest update. Oh, you just mean when you're writing in real life? Okay, all right then, fine. But it's a name brand and it's Bluetooth. Yeah, there's a few tablets. It could be Wacom, XP Pen. There's another one beginning with G. It's like Gaomon. I can't remember what it's called. Bert Monroy said once he got used to using his tablet, it was completely natural and he couldn't imagine going back. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's a Wacom. Okay, cool. Wacom. Yeah, Wacom. They're the big dogs in the game. They are the big dogs. Right, so I'm going to pick. I'm going to start with this one because I don't like this one at the top. That's too squiggly wiggly, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to keep this one. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to do a process of elimination. We'll go through. $886,000 subs and only 68 people watching this live. Hey, 68 is a lot of people. 68 is a lot of people. Yeah, it's weird. Do you guys know if anyone else does like regular design live streams? Because I was looking it up a while ago. I was thinking like there's got to be more designers doing this kind of stuff in this space, and I couldn't actually find anyone. I think there might be one or two maybe, but they're kind of semi-regular. They're not like weekly. Do you know what I mean? Because I was talking to Poppy about it, and I was like, I can't be the only one. Oh, wow. So you got it from a friend, used only once with a $30 discount. Nice. Oh, thank you, Afif. That's very kind of you. I'm the only one. I'm the only one you know. I know. I thought I would ask. Oh, of course, yeah. Adobe Creative Cloud. Yeah, of course they do. They do design streams and they get guests on. Yeah, of course. Good point. Dany, hey, I haven't been live in some time. At home sick today. Oh no, that's rubbish. I hope you feel better. But at least I can join the stream. There you go. Cool. Right. All right. We'll do your one out. We'll do your one after Andrea. Let me work with Jeremy Farber to get his signature looking banging first. Why have I got this twice? Come on, Dan. Pay attention. Right, what other ones we got? Not a fan of that. Yeah, too swirly whirly. That's like a nice little cinnamon swirl there. And whilst I do love a good cinnamon swirl, that's not what I'm looking for here. That is not a J. Okay? That ain't a J. That's too far. That is just too much. That's an O. That's kind of nice. No. Ooh, I'm not a fan of that, Jay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to whoever designed these typefaces. I'm sure, and that's the thing. Certain words and letters look better than others, so it kind of depends what you got to work with. Do you know what I mean? No, this one's a bit too pen-like. That's a terrible description, but not feeling it. Not feeling it. Not feeling it. Oh my goodness! All right, well, I did a terrible job of picking 3 there. Right, well, I've clearly got my favorite, but it ain't up to me. It ain't up to me. So let's go through and pick out the ones I don't like. We're going to get rid of you, Cinnamon Swirl, I think. Let me just try something. Let me just try adding a stroke. Maybe it's because it's just so thin. Maybe I want to beef it up a bit. Maybe then I'll be happy. We'll see. Let's have a look. Oh, okay, go on then. Go on then. We'll put you in there. I'll call that one Cinnamon Swirl. For anyone who doesn't know, that's like a pastry. They sell them at the local shop. Oh, bugger. I also forgot to set a timer. I've got my chicken and potatoes for dinner in the oven. Set a timer for 1 hour. So when that timer goes off, I think actually my dinner will probably be burnt at that point. But hey ho. Oh, you're welcome, Tanvir. Hopefully they are helpful and enjoyable as well. That's all right, Andrea. Don't worry about it. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, it's a no, isn't it? Right. Okay. Okay. Right. So, not you. There we go. Definitely. Oh, let's just try lowercase. Okay. Yeah. So lowercase is definitely, the lowercase j is definitely not an O. That's a maybe. But it's kind of similar to that first one, and I think I prefer that, so I'm going to go with this one as well. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to get rid of the ones that are just, no. There we go. Badoosh. Okay, right. So shortlisted those 3. We're going to scooch those on a little bit further. I'm just going to have a play first. So I feel like this one, let's try stacking these up. They might look quite nice. Ooh. It might nestle quite nicely together, maybe. Can I interlock those? Not sure. Try a lowercase one as well. We've got the J and the F. Can I? I love it when things just fit together. Nah. Not sure. Okay, let's expand this one. Unite. Cut. Paste. There we go. 2 separate words. Will you fit together? sometimes you just get an absolute gem and the kind of words interlock and it's just like, ah, beautiful. And this one, are you gonna slot together nicely? I don't know. Oh, that kind of fits, but then it's sort of hanging out over there. Yeah, I'm not sure actually. I'm not sure. I think actually they look. I think I'm going to keep them on one line. I think, you know, it's worth trying and experimenting, but I think we'll just go back to one line. I think something else you can do if you want to kind of have your signature on an angle. What you can do is grab the shear tool. Shear. I always say shear. And don't click and drag because it will do this. Hey, where's it going? And you know, things will get frustrating and chaotic very quickly. With the tool selected, simply press enter or return on the keyboard. And then I would change the axes to vertical and then enter a specific value. Ooh, let's not do that. So we'll start with 10 and we can just use the up and down arrows to kind of move this up. So we're going into a negative value. So if you want to add a little bit of a slant, let's say we'll go for minus 13. Okay. Now the reason we're doing it this way and entering a specific value in terms of degrees is because if I press return, that effect is permanent. So typically when you kind of use that, the shear tool or the rotate tool or the scale tool, what you do is permanent. So normally you wouldn't be able to get back to having that flat because this, for want of a better phrase, has now become the new normal. Sorry that I just used that terminology, but yeah, that's what it is. So that is kind of ground zero now. So, but because we entered a numerical value, we know that we've sheared that by minus 13 degrees. So to get it back to being completely flat and horizontal, we just have to select the tool again, press return, and instead of minus 13, we just go positive 13. And then boom, we're back on a completely level playing field line, straight horizontal line. There we go. So there's a nifty little trick for using the shear tool. It's not one of those tools I use very often, but I think that's probably the only way that I've found that you can really kind of distort shapes in that way and still keep everything editable. There are a couple of other techniques, but they're just not as good as that one. Okay, right. Righty, right. Right, we're going to vote. We're going to see what everyone thinks. But unfortunately, none of us get the final say. That is down to Mr. Jeremy Farber. We are at your mercy, Jeremy. Okay. Which one is best? We got 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Here are the web results for set a timer for 1 hour. That Y on the first one sucks. Oh, hang on. Where have I gone? Switch the screen. Yeah, it's meant to be a J. I think it looks... oh, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. I was looking at the J for some reason. I know what you mean. And that's actually really good because maybe I can tweak that in a minute because I 100% agree with you there. That's probably one of the few bits I really just don't like. So we need to be able to see them. Yeah, good point. I have spoken. Also agreed on the Y. Yeah, I feel like I might be wrong, but I feel like a lot of people are going to agree with that sort of perspective on the Y. It definitely does break the conventional norms, even for this kind of typeface. Do you see what I mean? Like the two below, number 2 and 3, you got the descender, and then it kind of loops around and swooshes back up. And on number 1, it kind of does whatever the heck it wants. I don't know where that's going. Flip the swoosh on the Y to match the J. Ooh, you cheeky sausage. That is a good idea. Be right back. Going to legally change my name to Jeremy. The J on the 3 looks like an F at first glance. It does actually, yeah. Yep. I think the swoosh at the that kind of that swoosh on this one here. Let's just zoom in on that one. I think you'd need to just cut that short. It goes too far around. And I think because we also have an F, it's unfortunate because then we're like, hang on. They both kind of evoke F vibes. Cheeky sausage, lol. Oh, Leo. That's the name of my eldest son. What a fantastic name. Jeramu. Yeah, okay. Interesting question, right? Sir Yuka says the descenders should match. Fermi top. Should the descenders match on this type of script font? Interesting question. Because this is kind of more like a hand-drawn, handwritten feel, would every letter be that is the same letter be perfectly identical? If it was any other kind of, serif, sans serif typeface, whatever, yeah, absolutely, be consistent. I suppose they've done that here with the E's, haven't they? Let's have a look. We've got 2 E's, and I think they've reused exactly the same one. But, yeah, I don't know. Swooshy. If swooshy isn't a word, then it definitely should be. We'll go with swooshy. I like that. Between a J and a Y, yes. That is something that I kind of like to do generally. Let's have a look. Oh, what's the poll at? Oh, 1 is the clear winner. There's no catching up from that, I don't think. Yeah, what I like to typically do is kind of take the elements that I've already designed. If I can reuse an element, what it does is just make things more consistent. So that would be one thing to try, is kind of if I can take that part of the J and then use it as a descender on the Y, it would kind of, have a nice consistency and a kind of, not symmetry, but either end of the design using the same sort of loop. That might have quite a nice kind of consistent touch. Does the font have variations of the letters? Some have different variants. Yeah, so you do get something called stylistic alternates. I don't think that one's outlines now. Let's have a look. Let's just check. I've got my on canvas alternates on. I always forget where it is. Where is that setting? Type. Show character alternates. Yeah, there you go. That's what you want turned on. Let me show you what I mean. If I just grab, this is a font that's delicious and it's got loads of alternates. What you can do is when you select a character, sometimes you have alternate styles. And these are called stylistic alternates. And so you can kind of pick and choose the R or the E or the M that you like. These fonts are great because you might type your name and it looks terrible. But then once you've played around with a few of these stylistic alternates, you can actually get it looking pretty swooshy. Swooshy. There's that word. Tanvir, you've embedded that word into my head, my friend. Okay, right, let's end that poll. 59%. Number one is the clear winner. Lovely, fantastic. So let's go with that. We need to make some changes. First things first is I'm going to convert that to outlines. There we go. So what this does is basically turn this from an editable font into just a regular shape. And can I? No, it's all grouped together. So let's just ungroup all that. There we go. Right, now I can move all these letters around. Now we get to work. So yeah, first of all, I'm gonna tweak this a bit. So I'm gonna zoom in. I've got my smooth tool over here, and I'm just gonna kind of go around that, smooth that a bit. There we go. Just do that a few times. There we go. Nice. Not too bad. The width on the E, I could redraw that with the pencil tool. Just by going, oh goodness. Let's try that again. My non-shaky hand. There we go. So you can redraw using the pencil tool if you've got these settings enabled. Edit selected paths, and then I've got my smoothness up, which is going to help tremendously with what I'm trying to do here. And I could go through and I could redraw this if I wanted to. I would have to make sure I copy that over to the other E. And yeah, we'll do that in a minute, actually. I'll show you how to do that. And the great thing about this is this, this typeface has been created by someone with this experience, and I can just go in and just smooth things out, tweak things, and fine tune it. And I don't need a ton of calligraphy experience to get something looking good. I've just messed that one up. Let's undo that, and that's a good thing. You can always go back and undo. There we go. Let's yeah, that's not too bad. And then what I could do is grab the direct selection tool with A on the keyboard. We'll just grab these anchor points here, copy that, paste it. Now, if it goes weird like this, when you copy anchor points, go into outline mode and you'll see why. It's not a closed shape, so it's kind of broken up and it's trying to automatically connect to the wrong points. It's trying to connect these two together and these two down here, hence the crazy lines. If I just select these endpoints and press Command or Control J and join them together, you can see I've closed that there. It now displays correctly. And here, I'm going to try and pen tool that. Now it's kind of changing both sides, which isn't ideal, but you can, of course, click and hold down Alt or Option, and it will only change one side. So let's just zoom in. Yeah, that's not too bad. There we go. And because we're doing this type of script font, we're editing it in this way, I don't need to be super precise. I know normally on the design streams I'm banging on about use this tool, don't pen tool this, consistency, blah, blah. We can be a bit more loose with our curves here. We can use pencil tools and smooth tools. Not everything has to have that geometric precision. So they're grouped. Let's ungroup them. Oops. Right, now let's move this E up. Let's give the new E, the shiny new E. And what I would do in reality is spend ages working on that E. I'd get it looking absolutely perfect. But obviously that would take a long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to align this to part of the shape that I haven't edited. So I've not messed around with the bottom. So let's get those paths on top of each other. You can clearly see the change there. I could even, do you know, I could, if I was feeling cheeky, I could even connect the R to that. I don't know if that would. Let's try and bring them a bit closer together, a little bit. I got an idea for the R. So, right, that's pretty good. So now let's start to delete the original E. And then I can paste the new E on top of it. Oops. There we go. Boom. That's pretty decent. Now with the R, let's copy that as a backup. That's the backup up there if anything goes wrong. Something we could also try is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the knife tool and we're going to hold Alt or Option and drag. I'm going to make a cut. Let's hold Shift as well, actually, get a nice vertical cut. So I've cut this little piece off there. Oh, it's like a pointing finger. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the Puppet Warp tool. That's under the Free Transform tool if you're interested. Now, when I do this, it automatically adds a pin or a point. Let's press delete to get rid of that. So I'm going to add a point there, and I'm going to add one here. And what I can do is I can warp this. Oh, there we go. We can pull that over to connect it up. So I brought the other half of the word a little bit closer, and now I'm stretching the R out, and I can rotate this. So I can adjust that rotation nice and smoothly. And I'm trying to use this to connect that to the E. I don't know if this will work. Might look a bit terrible. And then I can use the direct selection tool to just bring that in and connect it up. And what do we got there? Smooth that out. No, let's... There we go. Let's pull that down. There we go. It just kind of felt like everything was kind of connected together, and then we had that gap between the R and the E. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And we could even push it maybe a tiny little smidge closer. It's a lot more tricky trying to kern these letters because, of course, with this, I mean, look at the M. There's a massive gap. So kerning, to some extent, does somewhat go out the window here. The swooshiest channel on YouTube. Say stylistic alternates one more time to summon the calligraphy ghost. Oh, swooshi is a word used to describe anything that is wonderful or fantastic. Oh, that's very vague. That could be anything. I mean, you know, the chicken I've got in the oven is pretty fantastic in my opinion. Does that make it swooshy? Derived from the word sushi, the ultimate cool food. Is that real, Tanvir? Is that what it actually says? I'm not sure if I believe that. Is this like Urban Dictionary or something? I know a few guys that are swooshy. I think we all know a few guys that are a bit swooshy. Is it better to save? Okay, so why would you save your artwork in Adobe Illustrator .ai format or EPS? So typically I always save mine in Adobe Illustrator because it's just native to the software. It has maximum compatibility with everything. EPS is still a vector format. I don't use it enough to know if certain features like, I don't know, Illustrator's 3D would be saved as part of an EPS file. But one of the main kind of uses of EPS is there are other programs that are not Illustrator and not design software that can read and import EPS files. I might be wrong. I feel like Microsoft PowerPoint can import EPS files. I swear I did that years ago once. It was this one time. Yeah, something like that. It was something like that for sure. The EPS or .EPS is kind of your standard vector format. Actually, that's not strictly true. You've got SVG as well, which is a more recent format used for like UI design and icons and things. So there's a couple of more universal vector formats like SVG and EPS, and these can be opened and read and imported, these files, by apps that aren't Illustrator as well. So they're kind of more of a general format that could be widely used. Whereas Adobe Illustrator files, they can, for the most part, only be opened by Adobe Illustrator. I'm sure there's other apps that can read them, but they, you know, Illustrator files are designed to have native support for all of Illustrator's features. Whereas if I were to start making some 3D graphics with Illustrator's 3D features, would that be saved and still editable in an EPS file? I don't know. Zach, hello. Honestly, that's tough for me to get out of that. Everything needs to line up mathematically mindset. Yeah, Jeremy, I'm right there with you, man. Yeah, I know. Like I said earlier, my sort of my strength and my kind of real skill set is more the layout kind of stuff within graphic design. So I like kind of laying out lots of information and having all my, you know, everything, all my ducks in a row, so to speak. So doing anything like this normally for me is more like, I don't know, freehand organic shapes is, I can do it, but it's more out of my comfort zone. And it will typically take me longer because it's just not something I do as often. Ah, Andrea says, yes, in my interactive media college course last semester, we used SVG to create 3D items in Blender and render them out to be viewed in other formats. Okay, interesting. What I mean by that is that he required us to use .svg. Okay. Oh, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. in Texas. Yeah, I think there's 8 hours between us. Something like that. No, hang on. It's 4 o'clock here, 10 a.m. in Texas. That would be 6 hours, Dan. Sorry, I'm thinking of the West Coast. I think it's like California and that kind of, that way that's 8 hours behind. Ha, time zones. Anyway, let's fix that Y. Right. Rather than draw that manually, let's just, again, I'm using the direct selection tool to grab only the anchor points I want. Let's grab a few more up here. Just shift select, copy, and then paste in place. Okay. Make sure you deselect, then paste. Yeah. Sometimes it will do this when you copy anchor points and it will fill shapes in. If you get that, just grab your shape builder tool over here, hold Alt Option and click and just punch out that hole again. It's just one of those things. Right, let's try and position that. Again, let's go for a nice punchy color. Let's go for blue. Cyan, there we go. Lovely. Let's get that lined up. And kind of around about the, oh, that's a bit low actually. Let's move it up a bit. Yeah, I'll keep it at the same angle. I could kind of mess around with it, but for consistency's sake, let's keep it at the same angle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's lock the nice cyan layer. We'll grab the black. We're going to knife tool that. Whooshing. Make a cut. And then I can get rid of that end piece. Now I've done that, let's unlock. Make this black. There we go. Just like that. Boom. Oh, he makes it look so easy. Right. I'm going to move that up. It's coming down way too low for me. Yeah, I need to get it up. So let's go back and make that cyan again. Just so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Yeah. I want that kind of tail there, just to sort of flick underneath the bottom of the Y. So I'm going to... Let's go for something like that. Again, knife tool. Let's just make a cut through the top because I don't need that. Now let's turn it to black. And this is where we need to zoom in and kind of, as you can see, I've got these two shapes sort of colliding here. So what I'm going to do is, just to make things simple, I'm going to select all of it, unite this together so this kind of merges it into one block. And now I can just kind of use my tools to redraw that. So with a pencil tool, I might, goodness, my drawing today is all over the place. Come on, steady hand, Dan. Ah, there we go. Let's smooth that out. There we go. So that's what I sometimes do, is I'll use the pencil tool to kind of get the majority of the shape, kind of what I'm thinking, and then I'll smooth it out with the smooth tool. Little kink, little bit sticking out there. What are you doing there, my friend? Boop. Delete that anchor point. Make sure you do connect these up, because any kind of open paths or things that are unconnected can cause problems. And there we go. I think it's fair to say that that is a much better looking Jeremy. Oh, it's 8 a.m. here in California. Also, hi, Sean. Thanks for joining. The way you pick color, that's speechless. Well, speechless is in terrible. Oh, good. Is this a case that you could use the blob brush and the eraser to match the line, weight, and style? Let's give it a go. Blob. It depends. Clint. Oh, that is a cool name. I like that. That depends. So blob brush, this usually will brush in with a solid fill rather than a stroke. So if you wanted, what was your question? Sorry. Yeah, so if you wanted a consistent width, for example, you can see here everything is the same width. Now I can't change the width of certain parts of this very easily. So what I would be tempted to do is use the paintbrush tool, because I can still change that size. I'm using the left and right square brackets on the keyboard to just quickly do that. And again, you know, let's just do the J, for example. Whoa. So just doing that, it still keeps everything the same width, just like the blob brush tool, but this is a stroke. So I can now, with this being a stroke, I can use all the other tools I've been using so far. So I can use the pencil tool to kind of redraw the curve if I don't like it. I think I made that worse there. Goodness. Come on, Dan. We'll draw it. We'll make it go a bit lower. Oh, my drawing today is awful. Yeah. So, whereas if I was using the blob brush tool, let me just kind of show you the same thing. Where are you, blob brush tool? So draw this. Just pretend that that's better than it is. If I go into outline mode and I try and, let's say, redraw this, you can see I've actually got to redraw both sides because it's a fill rather than a stroke. So if that works for you, and then you want to be able to control, oh, do you know what? I want this bit at the bottom. I want that coming real low. And there we go. Yeah, so you can do that. And then you can control the width that way. But another way that you can control width with an editable stroke like this is you can grab the, is this one? Width tool. There we go. Shift and W. And oh, that's interesting. That is the width tool. Why are you not letting me change the width? Oh, oh, plot twist. Okay. Let's try that with another line. Is that something I've done? Yeah. So what you can typically do is you can kind of then adjust the width of different parts of a stroke. But for some reason, it doesn't want me to do it there. Interesting. Okay. Let's try that again. Let's try and draw that. There we go. There we go. Best J in the world. Oh, for some reason, it's not letting me change the width. I wonder if that's because the strokes cross over. I wonder. Let's delete that last one. Can I change the width now? Huh. That is very curious. So I can change the width profile from... No, it won't let me change the width profile either. That is interesting. I don't think I've ever had that happen. Huh. I'm intrigued now. Okay, let's close. This is when we go into kind of problem solving mode. Let's close the shape. No, it still won't let me... I know what it is. I know what it is. I don't know why. But when using the brush tool, you can't adjust the width. So we'll grab the pencil tool instead. So the main reason you would use the brush tool is because you can apply different brushes and different brush styles. Pencil tool, it just applies it like this. It's very boring and basic, but it's still a path in Illustrator. And just like any path, you can thicken it up and adjust things. So these are kind of the same thing. But because one was done with the brush tool, I couldn't use the width tool. This one was done with the pencil tool. Now I can change the width. Don't ask me why. So if you want this kind of control over your letters, I would just use the pencil tool rather than the brush tool. Andrea says, what is the keyboard shortcut you used to connect 2 points when you deleted the extra point? So that would be this one here. Join, Command or Control J. So if you've got 2 anchor points and you want to connect them with a straight line, just select them both and then join them with that shortcut. Your face disappeared. Wait, what? What? Oh, hang on. Have I pulled the cable? I love the fact that there's panic. My face has disappeared. I'll take that as a compliment, I think. Right. Turn it off and back on. Okay. Oh, no. Webcam drama. Webcam drama. There we go. I'm back. I have no idea what happened. Camera. I think I might have pulled the camera cable out. I might have got a bit excited and yanked the cable out. It's a bit of a wonky connector, to be honest. There we go. All right, it's back. I like that. I'm not he anymore. I'm an it. I love it, Andrea. There it is. Thank you, James. It's back. That thing, that ginger thing on camera. Excellent. Your face disappeared, lol. No, it definitely didn't disappear. My face is still here. The camera just had a funny. I would know if my face disappeared. You can't fool me, Andrea. I've got a mirror in the other room. Ben, hello. Hi all. I have to do this often with signatures supplied to me as 3K JPEGs embedded in a Word file. Oh, so what do you do when you get the JPEG signature? Do you have to kind of redraw it as a vector graphic? Oh, yeah, JPEG signatures. Ugh, nasty. San? Who's San? That's funny. Oh, you're welcome. We do what we can, Andrea. We do what we can. Right. Whew. Good to be back. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to be able to change the width of a stroke, brush tool bad, pencil tool good. Well, it's unfortunate because that's a nicer shape. So let's just try and redraw this a wee bit nicer. No, rubbish. Rubbish. Is my smoothness up? Yeah, I am just terrible. Okay. Okay, that's as good as we're going to get. There's a nice, delicious J. So what I was trying to demonstrate there was, let's grab the width tool. We can now thicken up that bottom point and sort of play around. So we could kind of have this taper off. And then I could kind of make this one thicker here. And then I could have this one taper off as well. This is just how I like to do it personally because, you know, I've only got the stroke rather than the kind of both sides of the letter. And I can edit all the stroke properties. So I can now make this thicker or thinner. And it will remember that those width adjustments that I've made, they will scale. And I can go back and fine tune them as well. So if I go and find that point, there you go. I could make it a bit thicker. And you just get much more control over the paths. So yeah, that's kind of how I would do it. Anyway, tangent aside, let's look at this. Yeah, the F's kind of cool. Do I like that bit on the end? I don't know. Try a version without it. Whoa, where have you gone, Dan? Come on. I'm getting a bit too keyboard shortcut trigger happy. Right, we'll copy that one down there as a backup. And then what I can do is, could I knife tool this? Maybe. You can press cap locks if you want to switch to a more precise cursor. Actually, no, that's a terrible idea. God, whose idea was that? let's delete these anchor points one by one. I think it's a relatively straight line, so I might be able to just connect that. It might be a straight shot all the way down to the bottom. Command or Control J. There is that that shortcut, Andrea, and it just connects in with a straight line. And I can, where you've got these kinks there, where it kind of goes from curve to straight line, I can just brush over that and give it a bit of smoothness. There we go. Nice. Oh, the smooth tool is so good. I love it so much. There we go. There we go. That's the one. The R. I've got to copy the R over. So let's drag that over. Hang on. Let's just grab the whole letter. We may as well. Drag it over. And then I can switch into outline mode. It just makes lining things up much easier. Of course, now I've got to delete the other R, paste that one in. Boom. We've now got 2 R's. That looks pretty decent. I'm happy with that. Anything I'm going to do now is just nudge them closer together. And I think I quite like it like this. But again, we could go and grab the shear tool, press return, nudge it up. If you wanted it on an angle like that, that could look quite tasty. Or we could go to effect, warp, and then just pick any one. And yeah, arc. And you could have it kind of curving if you wanted to have it on an arc. Nothing too crazy. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Signed off. Go for like 14 maybe. And I suppose what you could do if you wanted to get really fancy is you could kind of... Actually, no, I'm going to pen tool this. This is where the pen tool would be better suited. You could add like a little bit of a swoosh. Let's thicken that up a wee bit. And then what I'm going to do is just add with the scissor tool. This is a good tool for making cuts on a path. Is just make a few cuts. And then delete those segments. There. And then I'm going to select the lines, round off those strokes. I could trim into these a bit more. So just scissor tool again and just trim off a little bit of excess. If I need to cut into it more, I kind of want to balance it. Yeah, it's not too bad. I think the only other thing, I might just taper this end point ever so slightly inwards, just so it gets slightly thinner to mirror the actual lettering. And what I can do is I can double click on this point with the width tool when I've got a value there. So I actually have a total value. So if you'd like a bit of mathematical precision, what I can do is go and grab this one, double click, punch in 1.1 so it mirrors the other side. And then that kind of middle section is a bit thicker, and then it tapers off to the same width. And do you know, I kind of like that actually. I was going to keep it all on one line and be a bit plain Jane, but do you know, I think I might even go for this one. So let's copy that one over, expand everything. So we don't have any strokes or anything now. We're just expanding it all. Expand until you can expand no more. Make sure it's grouped. Throw down a black background. White, black and white. Tasty, tasty, tasty. And I suppose you could take that to the end if you wanted to, but I think for now we'll leave that one there. Hopefully that was helpful anyway. Yes, that is another good point as well, Ben. You don't have to use the drawing tools. You could trace the letters with the pen tool. So literally just go over the same letter forms that are already there And rather than editing what the existing letters look like, which is what I've done, trace over them with the pen tool. So then you've got the lettering as a stroke, which you can then edit. And that gives you a lot more control over kind of cutting it and reshaping it. So that is another way to do it as well. Does the brush tool not let you set the pressure sensitivity? Yes, you can do that. And I'm using a graphics tablet as well. But, and like I say, if you're someone who's kind of has that experience, then you probably would find that very, very easy to set the pressure and do all that. I'm just not that good at using a graphics tablet with pressure to kind of do lettering. I find it really tricky. And it's just one of those things that I just don't really use it for, the pressure sensitivity side of it. In Photoshop, yeah, amazing. You know, being able to kind of brush in effects and things in Photoshop, that pressure sensitivity is something I find just almost essential when doing any kind of, you know, proper work. But in Illustrator, it's not something I use much. I've had people make fun of me for not using shortcut keys. Oh, that's not very nice. I mean, I do find them useful. I mean, I wouldn't ever make fun of someone for not using them, of course, but they do make it a lot easier. I think once you learn a piece of software more, sometimes it's something you might naturally gravitate towards because you're thinking, okay, I'm using this tool all the time. I'll just press S or E or R for the rotate tool. It's just going to save me time. But I don't know. I guess some people don't gravitate to the keyboard shortcuts in the same way. The way I work, right? I've got this is my right hand, and it's either on a mouse or a tablet or a trackpad. My left hand actually just sort of hovers like this. I've got like claw hand over the shift, control, command, alter option, all of those bits of the keyboard. So my left hand actually sits permanently on that part of the keyboard. And because my thumb is positioned over the command button, I can press Command S, Command V, Command V, Command F, Command whatever. I can press S, R, like all those keyboard shortcuts that I use the most. My hand is already positioned there. So I don't know. Maybe that's just something that I've kind of evolved over time because you know, it's just me. But that's where my hand kind of sits now. Hey, Reese. Hi, friends. Can't stay, but wanted to say hey. Hey, thank you for stopping by anyway. I appreciate it, man. I did mention the problem about the corners not working. I think there's a couple of other weird little glitchy things happening as well. Yeah, look. Yeah, Reese, check this one out. Press command, no, holding down spacebar and using the hand tool. When I click and drag, my artboard disappears. I'm pretty sure it didn't used to do that. So our professor told us that one of our exams were going to require us to use the keyboard shortcuts on the test that we use the most in class, so we had no choice but to learn them. Why were you required to learn them? Was that just the test was using the keyboard shortcuts? Or was the test, was it more, no, you will need to learn the shortcuts because they will make you faster to actually be able to complete the assignment in time? Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, you'll learn them organically over time. You will also forget which button you were pressing over time too. So, I mean, is there anyone in the chat who just doesn't use keyboard shortcuts? Specifically designers who have been doing this for a while, you know, they're in the industry and they just don't use them for whatever reason. Ben says I make my own with a small 9-key external keyboard and a keystroke mouse recorder. It's addictive. Nice. Yeah, I suppose if you're kind of doing the same sort of things over and over, having a separate keypad where you can just kind of program stuff, kind of like with a lot of graphics tablets, you get the keys on the side that you can program to do things that you do often. Oh no, legit messed up my day yesterday. That's a hot mess. I know. Yeah. I think there's a couple things with the latest update, that a few kinks that might need ironing out. Because I'm pretty sure my artboard didn't used to just disappear spontaneously. Are you getting that as well, Christical? Are you getting the artboard thing as well? Or is that kind of it's driving me nuts, yeah. I had an exam on keyboard shortcut keys. I passed, but I only use 3 or 4 shortcuts. Ben says I want the swoosh to be longer. No. Oh, what, you mean the swoosh underneath? Yeah, I know. It does feel a bit short, doesn't it? It does feel a little bit short. I mean, that is the good thing about this, is why I kind of work in this staggered way. These are kind of checkpoints. So if I mess something up, I can go back, because I've still got this as a stroke that I can go and edit. So I could go and, adjust this a wee bit if I wanted to. Oh, I might just go and redraw that. It's not going to be the original curve, but I'm going to try and match it as best I can. And what weight have we got? 1.5. Damn it, Ben. Why did you have to have an opinion? Is that? Oh, I'm noticing little things now. All right, okay. We're gonna wrap this up nice and quick, and then I'm gonna move on to the next one. Cool. Right, width tool. Boom, boom. 1.1. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah. I think that'll have to do. Hopefully that's okay. Yeah. Once you mentioned it, it was kind of starting to bug me more, actually. Okay. Yeah, that's better. I could play around with this all day. So there you go. Hopefully hopefully you like that, Jeremy. I don't know. If you want me to email that to you, just send me an email at where is it? hello@dansky.com. So yeah, Jeremy Farber. If you'd like me to send you that as a vector design for whatever reason, you can use it for whatever you like. Just shoot me an email there and I'll bounce it back to you. Oh, Clint says, I get the artboard thing happening to me too. It's very annoying. Right, okay, good. So, well, it's not good. It's terrible, but it's not just me. Yeah, let's do Andrea. Right, Andrea Davis. Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh no, I think my timer's going to go off in a minute. My chicken timer. All right, we've got 8 minutes. 8 minutes to work some magic. Right. So let's duplicate this down. We're going to go through the same process again. Andrea Davis. Andrea Davis. Was that what you wanted, Andrea? You wanted me to use this name? I can't remember if you typed something else. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Fantastic. Check your chicken first. I don't want it to burn. It's all right. I got roast potatoes in there as well, so I think they're better when they're crispy. Andrea Marie. Right, okay. I thought you typed something else. Nice. Boom. Okay. Also, for anyone just joining, hang on, segue. So if you're interested in learning Adobe Illustrator in its entirety from the ground up, and you like my teaching style and you can tolerate my voice, then I've got a course that will teach you everything from the ground up in about 6 to 7 hours thereabouts. That's literally 17 years worth of me using Illustrator packaged up, and it will just go from start to finish, virtually everything, and everyone who enrolls gets access to a private community, and basically you can DM me anytime. Ever have any questions, just send me a DM and I'll be there to help you. So that is the course. James, I did almost forget. I've made this course. It took me 6 months and I do a terrible job promoting it. I just forget. So oh, I'm so bad at marketing. So there we go. Marketing tips appreciated as well. But yes, that is my course. Right, so let's select this, and remember to kind of keep the font but change the words. We're just selecting everything and going edit, paste without formatting. We've got that shortcut there. This is probably where shortcuts do become handy, because I can just go paste, oops, paste, paste. And you can see I'm pasting in the new words, Andrea, Marie. But it's not, if I do that, it's going to paste in the font as well. That's your standard paste. But because I'm holding down Command or Control and Alt or Option. Ooh, look at that A. My goodness. That's an embellished A. Ooh, oh, A's. Look at these A's. Some of these are delicious. You've got a delicious looking name, Andrea. Very, very good. Right. Oh, I love that one. I love that second one. Okay, again, first one. The font is called Signerica Fat. Well, it's just a bit too squiggly for me, as before, so that's going to go first of all. I love that one again. What is this font? Holligate Signature. Okay. That's the same one again, because I'm a fool. Camera's just shut off. It's all right. Don't worry. I'm on the case. Why is my... Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. I think the camera's overheating. I think I'm in this little room and the camera is actually overheating. Yeah, there we go. Internal temperature. Is it going to come back? It might need to cool down for a minute. Let me turn it off, and I'll let that one cool down, and then we'll flick it back on at the end, and I can wave goodbye. That's pretty nice as well. Hopefully you can still hear me though. Should be able to. Yeah, that's pretty good as well. I like that. Let's we'll shortlist you. That one, but we've already kind of done that one, so I want to use a different one really. That's quite nice. Ooh. That one still says Jeremy. There we go. Let's change that one. Ooh. Oh, this is a tricky one. I mean, that's an incredibly embellished M. You're right, it does. It looks fantastic in script. Oh, that's a difficult one. I'm definitely going with these two. I like this one at the top, but we've used that already. So let's try and make it interesting and go with something we haven't picked already. Maybe this one. Let's pop that one out there. I like this one as well. Sort of giving me slight Disney vibes at how kind of crazy the lettering is. Like the D in Disney is just pretty wild. So we've got these versions. Again, I'm going to duplicate. I'm just going to split this over 2 lines. No. Yes. I'm going to split them over 2 lines, and I'm just going to have a play. See if I can get some things slotting together. Oh, would that slot in place? Could we make this work? Maybe. Maybe. Let's try it here. Actually, I've gone off this one. Why did I pick this one? Why did I pick this one? It's no, I don't like that. I've gone off that one. Sorry. Sorry if you did like that one. Yeah, A is usually a good letter. And actually, just to remember, there's loads more fonts on Envato Elements for signatures. I just downloaded about 10 or 11. Okay, let's do some more. We're just, boom. That might slot in beautifully. Look at that. There we go. Yep. Tasty, tasty. Okay. We'll do this one here. Don't know if any of these are going to have stylistic alternates, but we can certainly see. Could we, we just, maybe not. About lowercase. Yeah, you could do lowercase. It's not as interesting. There's no, I think I quite like how they sort of embellish those letters a wee bit. I'm kind of leaning towards this one. Maybe. I quite like this one as well. The letters don't lock as nicely, but maybe I could change that. Maybe I could move the ascender on the D and slide it up just underneath the R, maybe. I could work with that. I could work with that for sure, even if it's not quite there now. And I could get it looking almost balanced symmetrically. So there's another one. This one, maybe. I think it needs a bit more time and consideration to slot that together. I love the way the letters are very wild and embellished, but that would need a bit more work. So, and obviously I'm constrained by the chicken timer right now. So we're up against the clock. We're up against the clock. Okay, right. Let's do this. Where are you? Start a poll. Which one is best? 1, 2, and 3. Let's go. Oh no, that is the chicken timer. Right. Burnt chicken it is. We're not stopping now. Oh, actually no, hang on. I've got an idea. Why don't I just go and turn the oven off? Oh, what a genius idea. Who could have possibly thought of that? Back in a sec. Oh, hang on, I think I've left my stylus in the other room. Oh, goodness me. I left my stylus next to the chicken, didn't I? Right, okay. Okay. Hey, right. Just catching up on the chat. Because it's switched. Hang on. Oh, what have I done? Oh, sorry. Oh, what a plonker. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? All right. Yeah, that's a tough one. Hey, Tom. Hello. Good to see you, man. Plonker. I think, yeah, plonker is a very British term, I think, isn't it? A real Rodney Plonker. Is that where it was popularized? From Only Fools and Horses? You plonker. Yeah, okay, right. You're right. You're right. Let's do the poll again, because I messed that up. My bad. My bad. Which one is best? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Sorry, let's try that again. Now that they're correct. Are you welcome, Fabtorius or Jeremy? Hopefully, yeah, hopefully you like the design. Email me hello@dansky.com if you'd like me to send it, but obviously if you don't care, that's fine. No offense taken. I had fun making it anyway, so yeah. Hopefully see you again. I agree, the M is a bit wonky on that second one, says Andrea. Wonky M. The M on 3 is overwhelming, but I like it. Yeah, I think the thing I like about the M is it's totally bonkers, but it finishes kind of with a nice horizontal swoosh, which kind of underlines part of the word, well, the word of Marie, like A-R-I-E. It kind of underlines that bit, so that's kind of where I like it. The A is quite nice as well. Okay, slightly different, but it looks like 2's still going to take it. The top one I think could be quite cool. But yeah, the way that the second one just slots in together. The email was hello@dansky.com. I'll punch that in the chat. There we go. Oh, number 1's creeping up. I think 3 has potential, but it would need so much tweaking to make it work. Yeah. Tom's loving 1. Christical says 3 would be the best to work up. Yeah, 3's an interesting one. It requires the most work, I think. And even then, there's no guarantee that it would look good. But, okay. Yeah, I think it's close. But I think two's taken it again. So, yep. 2 was taking the biscuit. So we're going to go with that. And actually, I mean, is there a lot that I need to do to that, really? It looks pretty slick. Let's grab a big black block, send it to the back. We'll make the lettering white. This is what I would like to call a happy accident. it just slots together nicely. I could go and make some tweaks here. I could. Let's go and do that. What would I change if I could? Okay, maybe we'll bring the letters in a little bit closer. I could possibly kind of move these letters up, just sort of fill that space a bit more. There's a bit of a gap there. So yeah, maybe like this. Maybe, do I mess around with the size of the M? Not sure. Not sure about that. Could bring this down as well, just to make it a bit closer. Do you see what I'm doing there? Just closing that gap up a little bit. I feel like the A, I might angle that a bit more and make it slightly bigger. Just so it sort of matches the M a bit more. A pinch bigger. Yeah, do you see what I'm doing here? So I'm kind of moving it so it sort of follows a bit more of the curvature of the M. Kind of like what I do on Design Review, where I'm always sort of constantly banging on about try and find elements that are close to each other and build relationships between those elements. So if I've got, you know, one bit that's like this and the M is like that, maybe just kind of try and make them I don't know what you'd call it, like connect better or just have a bit more synergy between them. Matthew says, number 2 reminds me of every wedding you see nowadays. Everyone seems to use that font. Yeah, and this technique, it's quick and it can be very useful if you are designing a wedding. So let's just say, you know, we had Andrea and she was marrying Marie. This is a pretty quick way to do it, I think. So yeah, that's a really good example actually on a wedding invitation. You know, yeah, if you want to do something beautifully typographical, amazing, go for it. But if you need to do a wedding invite and you don't, like me, have that skill set, not to like a super advanced level anyway, then this kind of whole process is incredibly useful for being able to make something that looks good. Look at that. Do you see what I mean? I can like push the M out a little bit more. It still slots in place to the descender on the D, but now I can just kind of sneak in the word and suddenly we've got something that could be used for a wedding invite. Boom, boom. I could probably play around with that even a bit more. I could probably maybe link the D and the M, wedding invite. You want to link the names, the symbol of kind of, you know, the wedding and matrimony and all that stuff. Maybe I could link the D and the M. And then that and still just kind of sits there really nicely. And you've linked the names. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go back because this isn't a wedding invite, but just something to bear in mind. Let's move it up nice and close. There we go. Oh, hang on, I've pushed it out, haven't I? Sorry. Let's go back. Whoop. There we go. Move you up nice and close. Cool. That is crispy like your chicken. So tasty and wonderfully discovered. Happy little accident. Wow, moving it up really made nice. Bob Ross reference. Love it. What is the name of this font? That is a good question. What is it called? It's called Hierarchy Signature. And if you want to know where I got all these fonts from and you've just joined the stream, then Envato Elements, they're amazing. Loads and loads of creative assets, blah, blah, blah. I could bang on about this site for ages because I've been using it for years. But just go to fonts, do a search for signature, and you'll find 50 billion different fonts. It's just so many. I've downloaded about 10 or 11, but honestly, if you're serious about this, just download them all and just see how your name looks in that font. I love that. I gotta be honest, Andrea, I don't want to toot my own horn a little bit because, you know, I didn't do much of the work here. The typographer that made this delicious font did most of it, but that looks good. I'm definitively saying This looks good. And could I even be a bit cheeky? And what was that other one? There was part of the letter I love. Right, I love this. The bottom of the M. Can I try and do that? Let's have a go. Let's have a go. There's something about that I just love. Down. Do you know what? Let's just convert that to outlines and we'll just rip it straight off the font. Why draw it yourself? Well, you could just grab it straight off this one. Might work, might not. Let's have a go. Oh, it feels like cheating. I feel really naughty now. It's quite low down. I'd love it if I could get it up under there. But maybe not. Maybe not. Let's try... That could be kind of cool. We could go up, round. So you could do something like that, perhaps. Do you see what I was saying earlier? This is a really useful way that you can kind of do this kind of thing, even with limited experience in the kind of more advanced typography side of things. You can get away with quite a lot here. Oh, thank you, Alex. Thank you very much for the 99 cents and the hot dog emoji. Or a nice ampersand. Yes, Kai. Oh, a good ampersand. If this was like an invite, would be amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, Andrea. We're going to have to... Josh, I don't think that's going to work for me. We're going to have to... Yeah, as Christical says, we're going to have to ask him to change his name to Marie. I think... yeah, I mean, just pitch it to him. Tell him we've got a nice logo wedding invite thing lined up. I don't know. He might be open to it. We'll see. Oh, she decides to show herself. Hello, Poppy. Gah. Join in late, honestly. Goodness me. Right, I'm going to reshape that a bit. Andrea, how are we feeling about the swoosh? And if you think it looks terrible, that's absolutely fine. That is absolutely fine. Please be as honest as you like. It's not really drawing that, is it? Let's bring it out a bit. Oof. Let's try and scale that endpoint in a pinch. Oh no, I drew it with the brush tool. No! Right. Anyone joining the stream, for some reason, when you draw lines with the brush tool, you can't adjust the width easily because I don't know why. Who knows why? But it's fine. I've got a workaround. If you want to draw lines, use the pencil tool because then you can use the width tool. But whatever, we're gonna figure it out. I think this is probably a big thing that might put people off using Illustrator. Is you just come up against these roadblocks and it's like, ugh, like how do I get around this? And I imagine people get pretty frustrated. It gets easier to problem solve the more you know about Illustrator. So, quick segue. If you want to learn everything I know about Illustrator, this is my masterclass. It will teach you everything I know. There's like, I don't know, 70, 80 tools covered in this course. So, and that's one thing about learning the tools that's good. The more tools you know, as you probably see in these streams, I've just got more. Like if I get an idea and I want to create it, I've got more knowledge of the tools, so I know which one I'm going to use instead of this one. And this is why I do that. So when you use a better suited tool for the job, it's like anything. You know, it's like trying to screw in a screw with a hammer. It's probably the wrong tool for the job. It's not going to work. If you use a screwdriver, it will probably give you a better result. So, and it's the same with Illustrator and I think design software in general. So, you know, whether you enroll in my course or in any course, just enroll in a course, because something where you'll learn the tools, because it will make life considerably easier. Right, so now I'm just I'm doing this manually now. I'm going to make it thicker there and then still have this taper off a little bit. Oh, it could do that. Ooh, could do that. Go a bit thicker and then go thinner and then thicker at the end again. I might need to curve. That's a bit straight, that end point. I need it to curve more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knife tool that. Swing, cut that off and then grab. So ungroup it. There we go. Grab the whatever this tool's called, puppet warp tool. Now I can kind of bend this freely and rotate it to get a nice curve. And that is probably the most useful feature I found for the puppet warp tool. It's really, really cool. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm not totally sold on this bit here. I think I probably need to... I need to squish that. Oh, there we go. That's a bit better. We're sort of kind of varying that width a bit more, like the rest of this font. You can see here, thick, thin, thick, thin. So I think that bottom swoosh, I'm not 100% on it, I'll be honest. But I think it just takes, I think it'll just take a bit more tinkering. I would be confident that I could get to a place where I was really happy with it just from tinkering. Although I've just got to try not to spend forever doing that, because that would be incredibly boring. Let's merge these together, smooth this out. There we go. Smooth that kink as well. Yeah, like I said, I could fine tune this forever, but that is not bad. And hopefully this demonstrates really nicely what I was saying earlier about start with an existing font or a typeface, whatever, created by someone with that experience, that typography or calligraphy experience, and then you can make subtle modifications. And this has a very clear style. You can see this. It's thick and thin. It's very kind of swooshy. You can get a feel for how you would go about adding additional bits. So I'm not totally in love with this yet, but I think just tweaking the thickness and the thinness of those certain parts, I can clearly add on this swoosh and create it in a style that mirrors the other letters. I might even just do one more bit. So I'm just using the knife tool to make a cut. And again, puppet warp tool. I just want to pull this. Can I do that? I just want to pull this over a bit. Whoa, hey! Come on, Dan. Calm it down, mate. Calm it down. Yeah, so I would probably spend forever. I would spend hours looking at that and refining it. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, hopefully you like that, Andrea. Hopefully Josh is open to changing his name to Marie. And yeah, there you go. There's your wedding invitation title done. Or a drill. Yes, a drill might work better. Exactly. An electric screwdriver. Hi, just me, Leo. Dada, talk to me. Oh, that's my son. He's 8 years old. Me, Leo. Hi, Leo. Leo, are you a young person? Yes, he's one of those. He's one of those dirty young people. Ooh. Done the man. I'm absolutely loving the design. Fantastic. Amazing. Andrea, shoot me an email, and then if you want, I'll fire this one back to you. in a vector format. The camera has just turned itself off again, unfortunately. Overheating or whatever. I'll need to figure that one out. And I'm going to go and have some chicken now. So hopefully you've enjoyed this stream. I've had a ton of fun. Ben says, awesome, I have a 3-year-old named Jasper. Oh, hi Jasper. Turning 4 soon. Any advice for him? God, advice for him or advice for you? Yeah, I mean, kids, they keep changing, don't they? They keep you on your toes, that's for sure. Any advice for a 3-year-old? My goodness. 3-year-old turning 4. Just have fun. Have fun while you're young. That is the best advice. Just enjoy life. That's probably like, that sounds really corny, but honestly, like, gotta be honest, like, even just looking at my kids, I think sometimes as adults, it's so easy to forget to actually have fun and enjoy the journey in this thing we call life. And I just look at my 2 boys, 8 and 3 years old, and they just love it. They have a blast. They love jumping in puddles and playing around in mud and just being out in the wild, running around in the garden or in the forest or whatever. They just love it. So yeah, I think it's important to remember to have fun. Andrea says, I feel like that, like a little like water drip dot right at the end of the swoop will create that artistic element, take it from the wedding invite to a painter graphic designer. Yeah, oh yeah, I think you're right, actually. Just a little kind of, I think I probably would make that a little bit thicker and play around with it. What if you add a small circle after the design you have added to the M? Oh, what? A little yeah, there's loads you could do with that. Little swooshes and swirls. I came here for Illustrator knowledge, walked away with life advice. You're welcome, Leo. He's enjoying math, wakes up asking, what's 1 + 4 + 27? I mean, these are important questions. Do you live in a fairyland, Dan? I don't know. Do I live in a fairyland? I mean, I guess it depends how you define fairyland. Cheers, Ben. Have a good one, man. All right, I'm just gonna turn the camera back on. If it will let me, it would be nice to say goodbye with my silly face. If it will let me, just for a few seconds. Is it going to come back? Yes, it is. Right, I'll try and fix the overheating problem for next time. I got no idea what's happened there. Because of all the forests and gardens. Yeah, that did sound a bit weird, didn't it? No, I do not live in a fantasy fairyland. We live in a house. It has walls and a ceiling. We're very lucky. The politically correct term is swooshy. Absolutely, swooshy land. Swooshy is a legit word. Even if Tanvir's definition of swooshy is slightly questionable. I need to look that up myself. Anyway, thank you guys for joining the stream. I've had a fantastic time. I hope you've enjoyed it too. If you've had a design done here, I know we only did 2, but if you'd like me to send you the vector files, hello@dansky.com. Also, before I go, last orders, just here's a link to my course if you want to learn Adobe Illustrator in its entirety from beginner through to advanced. Yeah, have a fantastic weekend and I'll see you next week. Take care, guys. Swooshy swoosh.